Good morning. I'm Staff Sergeant Kimbrell. I'm from 3rd Staff and Faculty, the Advanced Attack Helicopter Division. This morning I'll be giving you a class on H-64 safety procedures. The H-64 helicopter is proven to be deadly on the battlefield. It can, however, be just as deadly to those who maintain it. Before you begin your mission of maintaining the Apache, you must first become thoroughly familiar with all aspects of aviation laser and aircraft weapons safety. Terminal learning objective. At the completion of this lesson, you will identify H-64 helicopter safety procedures, given TM 1-1520-238-23 series extract, student handout, and class notes. Correctly describe the 7 hazard areas of the H-64. Safety requirements are none. Risk assessment level is low. Environmental considerations are none. An evaluation will be a check on learning administered at the end of this lesson. Well, let's begin by talking about the hazard areas. Okay, if you refer to your student handout, first page is an extract from the -10, which we know would be the operator's manual for a piece of equipment. This is from the operator's manual for the H-64. Listed here are your 7 hazard areas. The figure on the top right of your page actually has 2 of them consolidated in there. So your first picture, you have the 30mm gun hazard area. The gun sweeps in the shaded area here from left to right. You want to stay clear of that. Then the upper right, you have the tail rotor and the APU exhaust areas. Center left, you have the rocket and missile hazard areas. Center right, engine exhaust and rotor disc area. Bottom left, the laser hazard areas. And the bottom right, canopy jettison areas. Okay, the engine hazard areas. Next page on your handout, we have an extract from the maintenance manuals for the crew chief personnel, and they address noise. The sound of the running engines can exceed the U.S. Surgeon General's noise limits. Earplugs or aviation helmet must be worn when working on the helicopter at these times. If injury occurs, seek medical aid. Okay, so when we're working in the engine areas, we want to wear approved safety goggles and approved hearing protection. Why would we be concerned with the emphasizing approved in that? Sergeant Ruffin?
Because if they're not approved, I guess that we would still be a chance for losing our hearing or sight.
That's correct. You have somebody that comes in, they're wearing their headphones from their Walkman, and they think that's going to save their hearing. They've got some generic glasses on that's not going to stop a projectile from coming through. It could actually make their damage worse. The other thing we're concerned about when we're in the engine area is burns from the exhaust. It's extremely hot, so we stay 200 feet behind the aircraft. That things could actually get ingested in the engine, spit out the backside, or if you're closer, you could actually get burned from the heat of it. And then on the engine inlet side, we want to be concerned about foreign object damage. Foreign object damage is anything that could come off of your person, out of your hands, go into that engine, and cause a piece of equipment to be destroyed or damaged. Okay, the APU exhaust, another of our hazard areas. Can everybody see that? Circled in the little yellow circle. What's unique about this is it's up near your eye level. It's very small. Personnel not familiar with the aircraft can walk over there, not thinking about what they're doing, receive burns on their upper body, receive burns around their face, and we also have hazards inside the catwalk there, which is an area you're not supposed to be in if it's running anyway, so we won't concern ourselves with those. What we are concerned with is walking back there, getting injured by the exhaust, getting burned, having something blown in our eyes, and we're also concerned with the noise. We have the same noise problems as the main engines with the APU. You have the high intensity noise, cause severe damage to your hearing. Okay, before we start the APU, we're going to be in communication with the pilot, and we're going to yell APU on. The reason we're going to do that is that there might be personnel on the aircraft. They could be doing something with the flight controls. They could be doing a number of things. And all of a sudden, they don't realize the APU is going to come on. Flight controls can move. They get a finger severed. They may not have appropriate hearing protection. Their hearing could be damaged. So you always want to alert everybody in the surrounding area what's going to happen in case they're not online with you. Okay. Rotor hazards area. It's actually two separate areas. You got your main rotor hazard area and your tail rotor hazard area. We're going to utilize the same precautions. Obviously, if the rotors are turning, the engines are going to be running. It's going to be very loud. And the eye safety comes into play also for a little bit of a different reason. So your main rotor blows sand and dust and debris, circulating all this stuff through the air. So you don't want to just wear safety glasses. You actually want goggles. So the goggles seal your face. All this debris stirred up by the rotor could be coming from any direction. Come down into your eye, blow up into your eye. We're always going to be concerned with foreign object damage. Things are rotating and spinning. You don't want them to grab the ring on your finger and grab your necktie. So we're going to secure loose clothing also. And the tail rotor is very difficult to see when it's spinning. It spins so fast and it's fairly small. You're used to being around the aircraft and you don't think about it. You slide up and down along the left side of the tail boom, you could walk right into it. So we're going to stay a helicopter length away from the tail rotor as much as possible. Okay, why are we going to wear goggles instead of glasses? Sorry, Davenport?
To seal, protect your whole eye.
Right.
Top part of your face.
Right. Glasses may not provide sufficient protection due to the fact that the hazard is not coming from just one direction. Okay, the storage jettisons. We have 4 pylons on the AH-64. That's pictured at the top of the slide. There's 2 on each wing on each side. And they're equipped with a jettison system so that whatever's stored on that pylon can be punched off during flight. They're running low on fuel, you get a damaged engine or something, they need the aircraft to be lighter, they just drop what they're carrying. It's a good system, fairly foolproof, but it's not private proof. So you get somebody who goes up in the cruise station while you're sitting on the ground, it doesn't require the helicopter to be running or anything. They go in there and they divert the safety measures that are there to keep you from punching those off, and they do it, and it happens. So when we're on the ground, we're going to have this safety pin and the red streamer removed before flight. That's not going to stop the cartridge from firing, but it's going to stop the cartridge from rotating your sear linkage. There's hooks in there that hold those stores on, and when that sear linkage rotates, there's an ejector piston that comes down, actually physically pushes the stores away from the aircraft. When you have that safety pin in there, it's going to stop all that from happening. Now, if you're on the ground, you don't have that safety pin installed, and there's no wing on there, somebody gets in there and hits it. Your ejector piston down here that actually would push the wing stores away from the aircraft is going to come flying out like a projectile. You go bouncing through your hangar. Who knows what'll stop. All right, an additional danger with this is the explosive cartridge that's in there in the lower left where it says chambered cartridge. That's an explosive. You know, you treat it with the same respect you would treat a claymore mine or ammunition, and it's fired electronically. So we do stray voltage checks on it. Have the armament personnel, the 68 X-rays, do stray voltage checks on it. Make sure that nothing's going to upset it, making it explode while it's in your hands. Okay, rockets and missile hazard areas, fairly straightforward. Just remember your AT4 from basic training. You don't want to be in front of it. You don't want to be behind it. It's got a big back blast area, and then obviously it's a big projectile if it were to be fired and come out of the front. And they have been inadvertently released from the aircraft before. So we walk in front of it all the time. Kind of that can't happen to me mentality or whatever, but it has happened before. It didn't hit anybody, but it did blow up a big ammo dump in Saudi Arabia. But it's a legitimate threat. Okay, the area weapons system hazard. As I was saying in the beginning of the presentation, slews left and right, moves about 100 degrees per second, 100 degrees of azimuth per second. The turret is actually strong enough to pick up the aircraft, which weighs 12 to 17,000 pounds. So it'll crush you, break your leg, things of that nature. Anytime the aircraft is under power, just don't even go near it. That's the best rule of thumb. Okay, we also have laser hazard from the TAD system. The TAD system on your acronyms handout. The TAD system has a class 4 laser inside it, which is one step below the lasers that they use to burn and cut things. So it'll cause serious eye damage if you're looking in there when that laser is armed. So anytime the aircraft laser is in operation in a situation around personnel, which is very rare, you'll have these signs around to warn you of the danger. Okay, are there any questions?
Just one.
Okay.
The Hellfire system and the launching system on that. You said when they jump, what happens if they jump in? Is it automatically neutralized? No chance of it exploding?
As far as the weapon itself,
Right.
the weapon's electrically fired, so when you punch it away from the aircraft, theoretically, it should not be able to fire. When it's falling to the ground and stuff, there should be no electrical signal to set it off. Okay? Alright, why would we yell APU on before we start the APU? Sorry, Martinez.
So in case somebody's in the cockpit and it's moving, to prevent them to be moving parts where you crank the APU.
Right. We don't want them to hurt anybody else that's in the area or anybody else in the area not have safety protection. And why would we wear safety goggles? Major Evan?
To protect your eyes from any direction of blowing objects.
Right. Any debris can come from any direction when you're out there in the rotor watch. Okay. All right, to summarize, we talked about the 7 hazard areas of the H-64. From your area weapon system, tail and main rotor, engines, APUs, and your Hellfire and rocket stores, and your TADS laser. That's all I have for you. This concludes my presentation. The next presentation will be Sergeant Simpson.